How's it going, everyone? My name is AJ, and today I'm going to answer a health question. The shoulder is the most mobile joint in the body, but having all that extra mobility sometimes translates into the odd pop or click within the joint when you move it a certain way. What is the cause of this noise? And is it something that you should be concerned about? I am going to answer this question from a scientific perspective. So without further delay, let's get started. The pop or click that you hear or feel within your shoulder is likely caused by one of two mechanisms. One of them is cavitation, where air bubbles become trapped in the bursa and synovial fluid of your shoulder joint over time, and then pop when it moves a certain way. The concept is quite similar to popping bubble wrap, and happens pretty infrequently because it takes a lot of time for air bubbles to accumulate in the joint. In general, this is not something I would worry about. However, if you experience a pop or a click every time you move your shoulder, especially if it's one movement in particular, this probably is not caviation. Instead, there's a pretty good chance that your shoulder or glenohumeral joint is not in optimal position. Muscles that interact and cross the shoulder joint are likely not lined up where they should be, and as a result, when you move your shoulder a certain way, their tendons snap against one or more of the bones that they move with. If one particular muscle or muscle group is stiffer or less mobile than the others, it will pull the head of your humerus out of its natural resting position and cause even more restriction within the shoulder joint. This phenomenon is typically triggered by over or undertraining of muscles, acute or chronic injury, or a series of bad movement patterns and poor posture developed or learned over time. So let's ask the million-dollar question. Is this dangerous? Over the short term, this is not something I would be super frantic about, but it's worthwhile to note that the clicking noise you hear is a symptom of poor shoulder mobility. If you choose not to do anything about this, this will likely lead to an eventual injury, pain when performing certain movements, and in severe cases, permanent loss of joint mobility. I like to compare joint clicking to the check engine light in your car. Just because the light is on does not mean you can't drive it, but if you don't get it serviced soon, you could be looking at future trouble. So what's the trick to stopping the click? Let's take a closer look. Before we take a closer look, I want to mention that I offer private online personal training. Take your fitness to the next level with expert coaching, customized programming, and accountability you won't find anywhere else. Visit ajsteven.com to book an appointment or learn more about how I can help you become stronger, more mobile, and confident in the gym or in the comfort of your own home. Before doing the correct stretches and exercises, you need to figure out which muscles are responsible for the noise. The easiest way to do this is to group all muscles that influence the shoulder joint based on function. I've done this for you here and also ranked them according to which group is most likely to be the source of the problem. You'll notice that elbow flexors are also on this list. Even though they don't always cross the shoulder joint, they can still play a role influencing structures that indirectly affect the shoulder joint. Start by determining which movement causes the click or pop in your shoulder. This might be a bit tricky since there are so many different combinations of movement that could be at fault. I'm demonstrating a few variations here in case you need some guidance. I recommend starting with one specific movement and going from there. Once you've figured out which movement causes the click, spend about 2 minutes or so stretching or mobilizing one particular muscle group and then retesting your shoulder using the same movement performed earlier. If you notice either a decrease in noise or a complete absence of noise, there's a good chance that particular muscle group is one of the culprits contributing to the pop. If it doesn't, try stretching a different muscle group. Now, once you've figured out which muscle it is, you shouldn't necessarily spend all of your time stretching it. Incorporating specific exercises is a critical step to not just stopping the pop, but preventing it from coming back. In order to see optimal results, I highly recommend including both. The full list of exercises I recommend for each group can also be found in the description below. Feel free to give this method a try and let me know what you found out in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, share it with your friends, subscribe, and turn notifications on. Thank you so much for watching, and stay strong.